Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. It is late Friday evening, and I kind of let something skip by in my mind, so I'm going to very quickly do something not really planned. But I'm going to start by showing you this, which is a copy of The Wizard of Oz. This is by L. Frank Baum. Interesting. I told you in an old video that I had already seen Wicked as a musical quite some time ago. So like 20 years ago, I would have seen this. Pretty interesting. Those are, the play, of course, is based on this, which is kind of based on this, right? So I have these three books here, written by Gregory Maguire, and yeah, kind of interesting. But now, two parts of a movie. And I saw something a couple of days ago, and I bought them because sometimes it's ridiculous and fun to do. These, which are boxes of cereal that at my local grocery store were selling for less than $1 a piece, and I thought, that's kind of funny. So there's two sides to the box, of course. And yeah, what's funny about these, though, is that they say that they're made in Oz, or, whatever, and they're surrounded by the yellow brick road, and, it's interesting. So they're kind of meant as almost like companion boxes of cereal to face each other. Wicked for good, I guess. I'm not going to lie to you. This Alphaba caramel apple flavoring, not really that great compared to Glinda Goodberry. Not that you need to have me consume this stuff, but it's funny that it says that they're made in Oz. This is what the cereal looks like. I'll just dump some out in my hand here. There you go. Not as good. And, this is basically just candy. That's all this stuff really is. Just sugary candy. So that's the Glinda Goodberry, which I do think is better. I'm going to set those aside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw kind of really just from imagination. No references, because I don't really need them for this. I'm just going to doodle and see where this goes. Oh, before I do that, I'll show you something else. I do believe I got this at a McDonald's, and not a McDonald's, what am I saying, a Walmart, which is a hair bow, and it was on for $1, and I laughed and thought, well, the only thing I kind of like out of that is that sort of pin, but it's not a pin, it's just a thing. Anyway, so $1. I spent $1 on that. So let's get to a doodle. What I'm going to draw, because it's not a complicated thing and I don't want to spend too much time on this, just kind of a thought that just popped into my head, was I'm going to try to draw one of the flying monkeys. And yeah, I'm just going to draw my own version of it because, well, I don't feel like doing the research, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes I just like to do silly stuff. So let's see if I can get this to focus on my finger. Lock it down just enough. Something about the old-timey way that when you watch the movies, I think they have like a large lip, upper lip. I mean, they're kind of spooky a little bit too. And the da-da-da-da-da kind of stuff that goes on with them, yeah, they're a little freaky. The way the animals are in The Wicked versus sort of what you get in uh, the movie, for example, they're a little bit different. So you didn't really get that kind of like a backstory that perhaps the animals could speak, and you know. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on too much about that if you're not super familiar with the movie or the play, the musical. So, like I said, this is just going to be my version of something, and it's not going to look exactly like it anyway because I'm doing this out of my head. But I'm sure it's going to look similar to certain things. You know those like cymbal clanging kind of monkey things. You know, they smash cymbals together. Maybe I'd have that floating around my head. I'm not sure where I'm pulling this out of my head at the moment. I know in the movie they kind of treat the flying monkeys as if they were part of the guards of the castle where the wizard lives, the palace, the what have you. And maybe some part of this is kind of turning into something else. I don't know. And I didn't bother, as I said, to look for references with this. I feel like they have short jackets. Let's say that this is kind of torn back here because of the wing spell-wise. I don't remember if they have long sleeves, to be honest with you. I'm going to say for this, I'm not going to bother with long sleeves. But I'm going to go with a long sort of forearms, long legs. No, short legs and then long forearms. Something kind of fun about the way these creatures move when you know, like when you watch the old movies, for example, the way they move when you know that there's somebody in a suit. It makes you wonder, well, who did they use? You know, was it children? Was it some of the little people actors that they had for Munchkins? It's kind of funny to think about that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know if I'm treating that as if it's a torn sleeve or not. I'm going to back that out just a little bit. Now, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We know roughly where we want the length of that to be. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now, when I saw the play, to me, the highlight, the biggest song, happens within the first act, I guess, before intermission. So with this movie, it kind of goes almost in the same sort of way. There's like an intermission of sorts between the movies. And Defying Gravity, to me, that is the big number. So I'm not saying that they already got past that. I'm saying that for me, they may have already gotten past that. I don't mean that in any sort of cruel way. It's just that is the tune as far as I'm concerned. A short that. Now, I don't remember if they have like shorts, or for decency's sake, we're going to put shorts on them. Midriff out. Sure. Good little monkey tail sticking out there. Style points for the curl at the end. Little stumpy legs. Little calf muscles, sure. And we're not going to go with shoes. We're going to have other versions of feet like this. But not perfectly. Ooh, that one a little kind of messy. Kind of like that. Could have went with longer toes there, but let us not forget wings can be the weird and fun things to draw depending on where you want little feathers to be and long feathers to be. All right. Let's see if I can move this out just a little bit more. And maybe I'll do a quick outline, put in some detail, and let this come to an end. So let me know in the comments if you plan on seeing this new movie, if you're already familiar with The Wizard of Oz anyway. Yeah, if there's anything that you think is super important for this movie and what you expect if you haven't found anything in the past with the movies, the books, all that stuff. So what are you expecting? Okay. Now this isn't really going to be super serious, as I said. I spent the first little bit just sort of rambling on about the books and whatnot. I think there's some sort of design on this as well, but that is okay. I'm going to give this sort of like some little accoutrement, some little fun design there on the shoulder. You see remnants of it on that side. That's not for cross-hatching's sake, that's just for fur. Weird. You know what that reminds me of? This little face, although the nose is not quite the same. Cracked Magazine, maybe. I think the character's name is Sylvester P. Smythe. Maybe that's where I kind of pulled some part of that, and maybe a little bit of Alfred E. Newman as well from Mad Magazine. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but that's funny. Well, that's a flying monkey anyway. And then for the final little bit, I'm just going to get out my paintbrush and some water, and I'm going to throw some shade and dimension at it. Little sprigs there. But anyway, so we'll do some final stuff in a moment. Yeah, and if you get that cereal for cheap, I guess, let me know what you think of that stuff. Do I actually have the paintbrush nearby? Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. Okay. I have a tendency to do this just because I don't really spend a lot of time cross-hatching. More to do with yeah, sort of adding tone and stuff. And I find that for me anyway, this does it reasonably well, reasonably quickly. You get used to stuff after a while, you know. I'm going to darken around the front paws, although I still want there to be a little bit of the detail there. I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see what I'm up to. Let's go here to this other front paw. bit around the face. You might have to listen to a little bit of Dark Side of the Moon. That'd be a fun thing to sort of sneak into the new movie. I don't mean sneak in. I mean, it would be neat if it was part of the soundtrack to have some Pink Floyd in there, just for fun. I think that would be neat. Now, actually, let's do this tail here. I forget if the palace guards in Wicked, in the Emerald City, if they started off talking. I'm trying to remember, but I think they do. No, maybe they don't. For whatever reason, and I don't want to get into that because there could be stuff that spoiler wise. But the great and powerful Oz is not really an awesome guy all the time, even though played by Jeff Goldblum, who's a pretty fun actor and a cool singer. Let me back this out again because now I'm working on the feet a little bit and I probably should have that in focus a little bit. We'll kind of keep this all, if I can, under 25 minutes. And if not, if it's 26 minutes, whoop-a-de-doo. Some parts of this I like better than the other parts. Before I did this kind of blurring part, I actually kind of liked this hand, for example. I'll try a little bit in here. It's the wing and behind, a little bit under the wing here. It's funny, in the story of the Wizard of Oz, you get to see Dorothy interact with family and, you know, before she goes off to that place. And when she gets back, it's a wonderful life in some way. Like, oh, I have such a great appreciation for everybody in my life and whatever. Anyway, it's kind of interesting. I know I just whatevered that, but it's just kind of funny. I don't know if I had thought about that before, of It's a Wonderful Life. Anyway, it's very much kind of along those lines, just excited to be back home. Back where you can appreciate your family and whatnot. A little bit of this detail back in. What should be long fingers. Okay. put around this tail. We're at over 25 minutes now. As I said, we'll try to stay within something, but if it takes longer, that's okay. And again, it's just in my sketchbook, so it doesn't have to be finished. I can get as much detail as I want into it. Let's zoom in on the eyes, and then we'll kind of come to an end here. This little Alfred E. Newman looking, Sylvester P. Smythe looking little guy. I don't know if I really super duper approve of this face. Something about it, I don't know. Well, let's give it a little kind of a topper, and I'll put a little bead on it. It's not quite a fez, but I think that's it. I don't know if I need to go that much further than that. A little bit of, yeah, there, a little bit here, a little bit underneath this here, sure. But again, it's just for the sketchbook. All right, well, get the cereal if you like. I don't know if this is something you really need in your life or not. Let me know if you see the new movie up here. I'm just going to write their version. But kind of their version. I'll square that up there a little bit. And right here, we'll say, for good. Anyway, folks, thanks for hanging out for a minute or so, and I hope you have a great weekend. Let me know if you see the play. Let me know if you see the movie. Let me know if you read the books. Anyway, best of everything. Ciao for now.